with Craig Lowndes.
Out of row 3, Larry Perkins and his teammate Russell Ingall, the two Castrol Commodores. Row 4, Dick Johnson, the Shell Falcon, and Stephen Richards, sensational effort of that in the Commodore.
And for the top dozen, Peter Brock and Paul Romano in 2:01 for pack leader Falcon.
5 seconds away from the start of Heat 3, Shell Australian Touring Car Championship Round 2 from Sandown International. John Bowe on pole position, Glenn Seaton alongside him. The field launch, Seaton gets a great start. Mark Scaife follows him through. They're squeezing Bowe over near the Armco, up toward turn 1. And it's Seaton in first position. Bowe survives, pushes his way into second. There's Scaife in third, and an enormous pack of V8 shuffling through turn 1 and down toward the chicane for the first time. So it's Seaton, Bowe, Scaife right behind him. We've got cars going every which way back there. Oh, Jim. Oh, there's been a tap there for Dick Johnson. Look at them all trying to pick their way through. So there's all sorts of panel rubbing, a bit of damage there. But they've managed to continue. Dick Johnson's out on the grass. He may have a problem. Well, it's a great shame for the Shell 17 Falcon. Bit of bent panels on the back. You can see he's copped a short back and side. So let's look at that on the replay. From Larry Perkins' race cam, you can see they're flying all over the place. There's David Parsons in front of him. Perkins took evasive action onto the grass, but there was just glass breaking everywhere, bits of Kevlar bodywork. So there's been a real punch-up through that first section of the track, but they've sorted themselves out. His teammate, John Bowe, in second position. Getting pretty heavy there on that first turn, Brad.
Well, it certainly was, and it's allowed the first 5 cars to skip away a little bit.
So nice clean air out in front for Glenn Seaton, who leads them through. John Bowe in second position, Scaife in third. Seaton making a big charge through the pack in the second heat. And there he is, Dick Johnson. Looked like he was just limping around the corner. He didn't get very far.
Quite possibly broken a steering arm or something on that car. He was having a lot of trouble just driving it down the straight line.
And Larry Perkins in trouble too, car 11. Dick Johnson, Mark Osler, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, mate.
There was cars going every which way there. How did you see it?
Well, it's just obvious that young Craig Lowndes needs to get a little bit of experience because, you know, you're not going to win the race in the first couple of corners. And, like, it was just the fact that you've got to give everyone a bit of racing room, Mark.
So you think Craig was the root of the problem there?
Well, I'm not sure whether it was Craig or whatever, but, you know, he certainly didn't give me enough room.
OK, Dick, well, sorry to see you on the sidelines there. Look forward to you getting back on the track at Bathurst.
We can only hope.
OK, thanks, mate.
Thank you.
So Dick Johnson didn't even complete a lap. Very disappointing for him. But here's his teammate, John Bowe, right up behind race leader Glenn Seaton and the Ford Credit Falcon. Scaife in there very close too. That's Ingall. First of the Holden Racing Team Commodores. I think it's Brock, Lowndes behind. So
actually, Lowndes was a big winner there. Perkins is in the pits. Dick's broken down, and Lowndes is still running in 6th, which is good for his title chances. It's important for him to finish races.
Certainly came here with a big points haul. Almost perfect score from Eastern Creek, 2 out of 3 in a second. And he really wants to defend that points lead. You can see Dick Johnson there, not too happy with the youngster as he sits on the sidelines. Here's Glenn Seaton, lights ablaze on John Bowe's car. I believe John's been having some brake problems, Bradley.
Well, he has. He finds that once he gets to about lap 7, the brakes start to go away on the front. It tends to want to lock rears, as we've seen in the previous race. So he'll have that in the back of his mind. He's hoping to fix the problem, but he's not sure. But at the moment, he's got Scaife all over him. And Mark hasn't won a round this year, and he'll be pressing on. He'll be trying to get to Glenn as quickly as he can.
Mark Scaife, the attack. I've said before that brand new Gibson Motorsport Commodore that was built for this championship got all badly crunched up at Eastern Creek last week. The car is repairable, but they didn't want to rush the job, so they brought out the spare from last year. So that's why it's changed its colour scheme quite noticeably. And it certainly hasn't slowed them down. Scaife really charging here right up behind the wing of the Shell 1 Ford. There's Russell Ingall. He's got Peter Brock and Craig Lowndes right behind him, the two Holden Racing Team Commodores. Tom Walkinshaw Racing boss, Uncle Tom, Sandown this afternoon watching the action.
Well, he'd be very happy with the result in the first race, but I don't think he'd be too happy with the way they're running at the moment. But back at the front, we've got Glenn Seaton, and here's JB doing a great job.
Seaton a 1:14.38. last time around. Quite quick times. There's David Parsons. We saw him from Larry Perkins' race cam in that first chicane smash-up. And looks like he's done a bit of damage to the right front.
It's the end of his day too, I'm afraid.
It's always a shame. Here comes Lowndes' big run on Peter Brock. He's a look up the inside. More than a look, he's right alongside him. He'll take that position back, so Lowndes moves up to 5th. And he looks like he's on a bit of a charge too, a 1:14.09 that time around. Just about the quickest guy on the track at the moment.
Russell Ingall is the next man in Craig Lowndes' sights. Ingall in 4th place. Glenn Seaton is still running at the front of the pack. John Bow under pressure from Mark Scaife, then Ingall, then Lowndes, then Peter Brock. That's the top half dozen.
And there's nothing between them. 3/10 of a second between the fastest and the slowest in that group.
Oh, look at Bow. Look how hard that car's working. Suspension. You can hear the front downforce producing undertay scraping on the ground. 1,350 kilograms of race car. It's pretty punishing on all the components inside it. Bow's just using every ounce of performance he can get out of this car because he's got Scaife really breathing down his neck. The Gibson Motorsport Commodore's looking very, very competitive in this final heat, Brad.
It certainly is, and what you notice about the first 3 cars is, unlike some of the ones a little further back, they're not afraid to drive the cars over the curb. Here we have Lowndes attacking Russell Ingall.
So he's really got to move on. He's just cleaned up his teammate last time around. Up the inside of Russell Ingall, he's got a good line into turn 1. So he'll take that position. That's another one. Oh, just gets squeezed for room inside Mark Poole's car. Poole gives him as much room as he possibly could. Lowndes squeezes through.
Fastest lap so far for Craig Lowndes, 1:13.71.
Fastest man on the track. 1.1 seconds, the gap between Seaton and Bow. That time around, Scaife right up Bow's tail. So they come up the back straight here. 260 kilometres an hour, just braking. About 180 as they turn into this left-hander. And look at this battle back here. This is Stephen Richards, the first of the privateers, and the Valvoline Cummins Commodore. He's got Alan Jones right behind him. And honestly, this is an outstanding effort from this privateer.
Especially if you were to compare their budgets. It's a great job by Stephen. He's, they're a very small team, done a lot of hard work. This is, of course, one of the ex-Gibson Motorsport cars from last year, and to be running where he is a fantastic job.
Well, it's actually a good omen because it's the actual car that his father, Jimmy Richards, drove in the championship. So he's keeping the seat warm for his dad and doing an excellent job. Ex-Gibson Motorsport Commodore, running on Dunlop tyres and really showing a clean pair of heels to the rest of the privateer pack at Sandown here today. Back to the front, John Bow, Mark Scaife and Craig Lowndes really on a charge. He's got right up behind Scaife. 6 laps completed of this 15-lap final race. So the action is on here at Sandown Park. Let's check the Shell race score for you. Glenn Seaton in command from John Bow, Mark Scaife in 3rd, Craig Lowndes closing in 4th, and Russell Ingall rounds out the 5. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Here with Mark Scaife, right on the tail of John Bow, and Craig Lowndes just sitting in behind this duo, waiting for something to give.
Oh, look at that. Just sticks the nose of the Mobile Commodore down the inside to have a look. Scaife responds, holds his position. It's nose to tail through here onto the main straight.
This battle allowing Glenn Seaton just to open up a little bit bigger gap at the front.
And John Bow shot right across the left-hand side of the straight, Brad. Any reason why he'd be doing that?
To make sure Mark didn't try and duck down the inside of him.
So
He'd be just trying to cover his ground as much as he can. And of course, Scaife's doing the same thing.
Did you see that? Bow just turning in. Car came in really hot. He may be having those brake problems now. Maybe went into the corner a bit faster than he would have liked.
Well, he certainly got a lot of pressure, but John's been around a long time and he's certainly used to dictating the pace from the lead or, the front of the group, and hasn't put a foot wrong at this point. And just, as you can see, the people closing up behind him is just covering his bases, which...
And of course, this carve up is allowing both Seaton to open the gap. He's got it up to just under 2 seconds now over Bow, and the other bunch behind to catch up with this trio. So they're getting very, very close.
The bunch behind, Russell Ingall and Peter Brock. So positions 2 through to 5, nothing to choose between them.